Hello everyone, a video request, and we're going to get to it right away, and I'm going to read it as it's written, because there's the request and then there's where I'm going to help people, well not people, but the client, more than the client realizes. I'm a computer science major, 20 years old. I'm also very into hip-hop music. I make rap beats and rap myself. That is a very interesting combination, very cool. I don't like hip-hop, I hate rap, but it's an interesting combination, absolutely. I've been doing the music since I was 15 to 16 years old. I've been into programming since I was 12 years old. I somehow got into my top school with a shit show high school GPA and SAT scores. I felt I always valued learning and even doing well in school, but have simply always had difficulty attaining it. If I were to make the case that this was because I didn't care and I was lazy, it would just be a lie. I previously, in 8th grade, was placed into a remedial level pre-algebra, and the same year I tested into honors algebra 2, never taking algebra 1 to begin with. My scores indicated I actually knew calculus, and I felt that I was going to be a great success in my high school, but not being challenged, I felt made me not interested in school. Well, of course, and that's a problem that anyone with the slightest bit of IQ, I mean, you don't even have to be brilliant, you just have to be average, and school is so boring and so made for the dumbest people and so played to the lowest common denominator. Most people are bored in school. A lot of guys think they're dumb, and you're not dumb. It's boring. I mean, it's your mind will shut down. It's just it's true. Where do we go? And both myself, education, and academic performance did not evolve, and my school ambitions suffered. I then went to state 4-year university majoring in computer science, where it simply built off the calculus I had already learned in the 8th grade and a bit in high school. And all the other courses were easy because a lot of it was reviewed because I went to a vocational school and computer programming and web development was the program. I forgot to mention that I went to a vocational high school. Anyways, I then experienced the same academic decline and am now at only a 2.2 GPA, which is horrible. And although I have many ways I can realistically bring that GPA up very effectively, given I turn around my academic means, I could do a combination of retaking courses, taking CLEP tests, etc. I have researched countless ways to bring up my GPA. The main thing that speaks to this, too, is it seems that I am not a great student, but decent at self-learning. I have always strived for academic success, but it was difficult and unfortunately has not been attained solely on being a student. I have a set of learned goals that seem to be very in line with what academia teaches, only mine would be self-taught. So I recognize a deficit between my self-learning and my schooling, and I recently feel I achieved my self-learning goals to finally be on level with my schooling, with my self-education. However, it seems too early to notice a dramatic difference, but a lot of improvement has happened. So my first question is, should I self-learn ahead of schooling, knowing I will do poorly solely as a student, which would make the schooling only more useful for its certifications and degrees? And to a bigger question is, what you think about having more than one passion with hip-hop and computer science, and how is that best carried out? Let me know if I need to make any clarifications, and I won't mention the name. Dude, your problem, your number one problem, is not your lack of studying or your low GPA, whether you're doing bad in school. You have no focus. None. None whatsoever. This is one paragraph. Let me film it. I'm going to film it here. I'm going to get his name out of the way. Let me just show the Cappy Capites here. Let me make sure. I'm going to turn this around. Look at all that. Now, you have natural genius. If you were doing calculus in the 8th grade, it is not a question whether you're smart. In fact, you get bored in school, probably a genius. The fact that you can do calculus and just jump for pre-cal or remedial algebra and take algebra 2 honors shows you have the ability. You lack the discipline and focus, and I am terribly sorry to inform you about this, but that is more important than raw talent. Because it is the discipline and the focus that channels and takes your raw talents and turns them into usable practical tools and services that people will pay for in society. Look at this. You gave no thought, no structure, no organization. You just vomited out a massive paragraph that gave no shit, no care about the person who has to read it, and that is me, to give you direct answers. Now, you could have just gotten by with the last 2 or 3 sentences wanting to know what I think you should do. But me recommending whether I think you should focus both on hip-hop and computer science and what I think you should do to get your grades up, that's irrelevant. None of that's going to matter. I could give you the secret to love in life, and it ain't going to matter because you do not focus and take the time to think about what other people want and how you have to communicate it to them. I am not a big fan of English, writing and communication skills, but you need to communicate at a certain level. You have to have this base level. I think they overteach communications, and I don't think you need freshman comp, but you do. You need to sit down, and I know you may have ADHD. Bullshit. Doesn't matter. If you have it or not, doesn't fucking matter. You having it does not excuse it. It won't make the problem go away. You have to try doubly as hard to focus. Get your thoughts together and organize. That's your number one priority. From there, you can address your other problems. Right? Your lack of focus is very obviously apparent in your GPA. You don't sit down and study. You don't sit down and take the time to go through the books, hand in homework on time, be disciplined. And I don't, it's not my problem. I know, maybe you have the ADHD. Maybe it is a hurdle. That's not my hurdle to jump. That's your hurdle to jump, and you got to do it. Whether it's fair or not, doesn't matter. That's your problem. I'm short. I got to get over it. I have gotten over it. I just accept it. You got to deal with this. All right? So you're going to focus going forward. All right? You're going to channel your energies. How do you get a higher GPA? Show up to class on time. Do your fucking homework. I'm not saying you don't do your homework or anything like that, but it's not science. It's not rocket science on how to get a high GPA. All right, make sure your papers are handed in, they're thorough, they're complete, and they're right, and they're correct. And that should be easier for you because you do seem to have natural genius. Okay? Again, further on, addressing your specific questions, should I self-learn ahead of schooling? No. You're going to learn while you're in school. And you should always be self-learning. Yeah, if it interests you, go ahead and teach yourself these things. But you can teach yourself all the stuff in the world. If you don't get that piece of paper, you don't get that certification, be it trade school or whatever, all your self-studying isn't going to matter. Unless you're going for like computer networking, and you can always go ahead and take the test and get the certification. But if you're going to go computer science, you're probably going to need a degree. You're going to need to show that you are disciplined. And it's not because it's not the GPA. That's not it. It's discipline. It's that you could show up to work on time, that you follow instructions, that you're not all over the place running off on missions that your boss never gave you. So self-learning, fine if you have time to do it. For now, focus on your schooling, get your freaking degree, get that GPA up. All right? And yeah, you could do CLEP tests and whatever else and retaking courses. But seriously, quit wasting your time. Retaking a course, I never retook a course in my life. Because I didn't want to piss away my time and more money. All right? Do it right the first time. Knowing I will do poorly solely as a student, which would make the schooling only useful for certifications and degrees. No, you won't do poorly as a student. You will not. You will decide for yourself and commit to doing great as a student. All right? So there is no like, oh, I just can't focus. Fuck it, I'm helpless. No. You're going to focus. And don't say, well, I need drugs. Or they say I can't because I have ADHD. No. All in your head, man. All in your fucking head. You're going to focus. You're going to get your fucking school. And you're going to get your decent GPA. And to the bigger question is what do you think about having more than one passion with hip-hop and computer science? Oh, and how is that best carried out? Absolutely fine to have. Absolutely. Well, you can't just have computer science as your thing. Yeah, do your hip-hop. Let that be your creative, barfing, vomit out everything. That's where your creative, crazy off the wall, non-disciplined stuff can happen. Go ahead and run with the hip-hop. And absolutely, you should pursue that. Absolutely. You can't just be a careerist all the time. But one is focused and serious, computer science. The other is creative and let it run and do whatever you want, hip-hop. And how to best carry that out? Make sure food's on the table. Get your degree first. Get your career going first. Make sure you're not poverty-stricken. Make sure you don't have that much in student loans. Don't get a girl pregnant. It's kind of a key thing there. And then when you go to work, your 9-to-5 job, and you have extra time at night, then you get yourself a nice little soundboard. You go ahead and do your hip-hop. Right? And then on the side, like when you got a little bit of free time, find some friends, do that. But certainly don't stop it. Don't cut it off and not do it anymore. But yeah, well, I don't give up my running or my exercising because I got a job. No, you do it. So that's it. You're underestimating yourself in terms of, oh, fuck it, I can't just do it because my GPA is horrible and I'm just gonna. No, that you're done using that excuse. That's done now. You're going to now focus on structure, discipline, organization, and tenacity, and then you will get your GPA up. You will focus on a career. And seriously, if you can't do this, then you might as well not even be going to school. I mean, seriously, work at McDonald's, go do something, because you're not. You'll get your degree, a really shitty GPA, then you might land a job and you'll get fired. Because this is not, you need to be able to communicate better than this. You need to focus and discipline. So that's your bigger thing. I think the rest of it will fall into place. But right now, that's your biggest problem. Anyway, wish you the best of luck. Focus, discipline, tenacity. Toodles.